Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Wake up. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Your voice matters. Your thoughts count. Your opinions important, so you gotta speak out. Don't let your chance to be heard pass by. Spare not. Let me hear you loud. Crowd. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Wake up. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Your voice matters. Your thoughts count. Your opinions important, so you gotta speak out. Don't let your chance to be heard pass by. Spare not. Let me hear you loud. Crowd. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Wake up. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Your voice matters. Your thoughts count. Your opinions important, so you gotta speak out. Don't let your chance to be heard pass by. Spare not. Let me hear you loud. Crowd. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Wake up. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Your voice matters. Your thoughts count. Your opinions important, so you gotta speak out. Don't let your chance to be heard pass by. Spare not. Let me hear you loud. Crowd. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Wake up. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Your voice matters. Your thoughts count. Your opinions important, so you gotta speak out. Don't let your chance to be heard pass by. Spare not. Let me hear you loud. Crowd. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Wake up. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Your voice matters. Your thoughts count. Your opinions important, so you gotta speak out. Don't let your chance to be heard pass by. Spare not. Let me hear you loud. Crowd. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Wake up. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Your voice matters. Your thoughts count. Your opinions important, so you gotta speak out. Don't let your chance to be heard pass by. Spare not. Let me hear you loud. Crowd. Shout it out real loud. Everybody wake up. Shout it out. Everybody wake up. Wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues. Wake up.
Welcome to Neutral Voices, the place where your voice matters. As you can see, I am C Stats, and they got me in a hot seat tonight. So we got the panel here, and we're going to have some discussion, but let us tell you, this is our Friday night randomonium night, and we got our youth in the building. Our youth in the flex room. Can y'all say hello to us?
What's going on there?
We just wanted to make sure we hear y'all. How y'all doing?
Good, how are
Well,
That's good. That's good. Doc V, Jill, E. Fikes, how's everybody doing tonight?
Baby, what's poppin'?
Doing
Doing real good.
That's good. That's good. It's been a long week.
Yes.
Let's shake it
Oh,
off.
my
Let's have a little fun.
goodness.
Let's have some
You have
conversation.
no idea.
We just gonna rejuvenate tonight and wind down for the
Yeah,
weekend.
sound good.
Let's have fun. But we're gonna have some serious conversation because we were talking this week about stereotypes, but we were, every Friday night show, we try to get the youth opinion of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So we have our youth in the building, our Neutral Voices Family Youth. We have them in the building, and we're going to talk to them. But before we go any further, we're going to say click, like, and share. Follow us on all platforms, Facebook, YouTube, what we got, Instagram,
Everything.
TikTok. We got everything. If you got
all
some,
of it.
Yes, if you got some social media, follow us.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we're going to talk about stereotypes. Now, everybody in the flex from our youth individuals, first of all, can everybody tell us who's in there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's start with Akira.
Okay. Hey, I'm Akira. Yeah.
Get into it.
I go to Huntington. I'm a sophomore technically now. I'm
Okay.
18, and I'm
Congratulations.
living life. Oh, I also work at City Life for Youth for Christ.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Oh, that's what's
Oh.
up. That's what's up.
What's poppin'? I'm Sequoia. I'm 17. I go to Southside. I'm gonna be a senior this year. Next year.
All right, hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy D-Rock. Go
Oh,
ahead,
man,
follow me on
come on,
IG
come
at
on, come on.
_2004_. All right, and also welcome to Neutral
Oh.
Voices Youth Night. We're gonna have a good time, good conversations, and stay tuned for the end.
Yes.
You sure you didn't miss any underscores in that?
Oh no, it's only
Nice.
time.
All right.
AKAs.
Man.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we
Welcome.
just trying to figure it out. Well, I'm going to start it off with this one simple question, but it's going to flow into our conversation. But as youth, what is one particular stereotype that you think we as adults or the world in general has about your age group or generation?
That we're stupid. Like,
Oh,
sorry, that was right off the top because
no.
I just feel adults think, even though I'm considered, an adult, whatever, because I'm 18, I'm still young, but people think I'm stupid because I'm young. I guess I haven't lived life,
I think we don't
Yet.
know any better.
so they think I'm unexperienced at life. I'm not.
Okay.
Maybe unexperienced, but not stupid, baby. I don't think people. Do people really think that?
Well,
adults think
Think
they
about
are
it, Doc V.
stupid?
When we were young, a lot of our elders always said, well, you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
They discounted
Yeah.
any thoughts that we had.
Anything.
Think about it. When in our generation, they didn't think we had problems.
That's true. They didn't think we had a
Right.
back. I remember
Yeah,
that
yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah,
Right.
what was that? That's
If you
saying
say
you gotta.
you got a pain or a
Yeah.
backache, you don't even have a back.
You got gristle.
Yeah, that's
So
what it was.
I
Or you ain't
agree.
got, or you ain't got no
understand that.
nerves.
Yeah.
You're too
I
young to have
understand.
nerves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. It sounds so harsh when you say stupid, but I definitely understand
Yes,
what
yes,
you're saying.
Yes, and I could agree to a certain extent, but I wouldn't, use the harsh word stupid.
You mean
either,
you agree that they
No,
are stupid?
no, I agree that we believe that they don't know much, but I would not
Right.
use the harsh word of calling
Okay.
them stupid.
I just wanted to clear that up. Make
You
sure
used
we-
a really good word is when you said discount, because I think a lot of times we do tell the youth, for instance, a broken relationship, well, you're too young to know what love is. We discount their
Yes.
hurt.
That's
Or
what
you're
I'm
you're too
talking
young to be tired. You don't even
Yes.
have a job.
Right.
You don't have any stress. Why are you stressed?
That's right.
So the word discount is very important because
Yes.
it is what we as adults do
Yes.
to the youth.
I got a question for the youth as well. What is a stereotype or a common misnomer that you have about adults?
Man. No, I can't say that.
Go ahead and say it, underscore.
No, I was gonna say, back in my day, we used to do this and do that. I don't think that's a
That they
stereotype.
know
though.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
counter.
So what you're
Yeah.
saying that adults think that
Basically.
they know everything?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that we talk
Well,
too much
okay.
about walking in the snow to catch the bus, knee
Okay,
deep with no
literally.
shoes on.
Yeah.
I ain't never
Well,
did
I
that.
Me
can-
neither.
I did that.
But you know what? I can respect that. That's their story, perhaps. I mean, I've always respected that, coming from my dad or my mom. But I do agree with that. I know some adults that think that they know everything.
Yes.
I just happen to be one that, obviously, because I work with a bunch of teenagers, I tell them quickly, listen, I don't know everything. So, I don't want to be held to that.
Right. But I'm going to counter that, Doc V, and say sometimes I'm that one You know, I am my mother's child because I said so. It makes it seem like I know everything.
Okay.
You know, so I'm probably that one. They probably talking about me. D-Rock done hung around me a little bit, so he probably talking about me right there.
Well, I mean, our life as an adult, as our life experience, we like to try to pass our knowledge down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that we know it all. It's just we trying to give you a nugget that we wish we would have had at your age.
Right.
As you should.
Yep.
I believe.
Very, very good point. You know, my parents have been married for like 100 years. So basically, they've been together since they were 12 because they were best friends.
I know that.
They got married at 18 or 19. So my mom has only known my father. So when I was having issues when I was younger or even in my 20s or 30s, it was very hard for her to relate because she had only been with one relationship, and this isn't like you from the 5th grade, Clarence. This is like legit
Preach it.
one
Mine legit,
relationship. So I mean, I didn't feel like
say
she really
legit?
understood me for a legitimate reason.
Yeah. Well, and think about this stereotypes that she only learned because that's all she knew.
Mm-hmm.
And stereotypes, I know Doc V gave us a definition, but we got to understand that stereotypes are just ways of thinking, or ways of believing certain things are certain ways. And a lot of times we don't change those stereotypes because we don't change the way that we're learning.
Right.
Or what we learn. We don't relearn things.
Right.
Because the stereotype is a fixed way of thinking
Yes.
about a particular thing,
Yes,
a
yes,
person.
yes.
I think of it as like an image that you put in your head. So until you change that image or until you learn something to replace that image, that's what it's going to be.
Well, I'm going to ask because E brought it up, but I'm going to ask the youth. And I'm going to ask the panel. We can all answer this. Now, are stereotypes taught? Well, I'm not going to say taught. Are traditions and etiquettes and things that we taught and we pass down, things that we've been taught, are they, because I believe they're from past thoughts and they're based in stereotypes. Like an example, is it a man supposed to pay for every date? Is a man supposed to pay for every date?
You want my answer?
I want to, let's see the kids, the youth
I'll give
first.
you my answer.
That's them. I don't date.
No.
Who was that said they don't date?
Wait,
Akira.
Okay.
when you do date,
you
you
do
can
date.
speak to it. Well, no, I'm saying when she starts,
Uh-huh.
what would your expectations be
I
then
don't-
for that date?
I don't think that's fair that he pays for every day. He's not
Before-
my husband. I can pay for my own stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
You think I could speak on this real quick?
Go ahead.
All right. The guy normally always the first day you're supposed to pay, no matter what. But after a couple of days, y'all can both split the check every now and then. Or if she want to pick up the check one day, she can pick up the check. But always, a guy is always supposed to pick up the first
Where'd
check.
you get that thought?
I was just going to say, where
Yeah.
did you get that
Where'd
from?
you get that from?
Oh, that's just how I was brought up.
That's what I'm saying.
Mhm,
E, hit it,
exactly.
E.
Okay. If she asks you on a date,
That was all.
she paying.
Exactly.
If she say,
Thank you.
if she say, hey, you want to go on a date, she's paying. Period.
Thank you
Now-
for that.
And I'm just gonna be honest with me. I do pick up the check. That's just
Pick it up and lay it right down in front of her.
It depends on the day. No, but I always pick up the check. I mean, it's one thing that the man that raised me, my dad, he passed. That's all. That's how he raised us in the household. He literally, he went to work. My mom didn't. My mom, him, well, both of them worked. He took what he needed out of his check and told my mom take care of the house. So I've seen a man actually do that.
So you don't have a problem with that? You're saying?
No, I wouldn't.
Today.
If I was in a stable relationship and was in that kind of way of making money, like he was making money, I wouldn't have a problem. Hey, I'm gonna take what
Handle
I need, handle it. He literally didn't even see a bill because simple fact, his mindset was, hey, you got the money, the bills need to be paid.
Right.
In the discussion. Now, if I say, hey, I need you to go to the bank and give me XYZ, it better be there. And that's how it was.
Right.
And even when I was married, I was somewhat like that. Hey, I don't even care what the bill look like. You tell me what you need, here it go. I'm going about my business.
All right.
And as far as now that I got a little smarter, A little smarter. Hey, I need to see that bill.
Right.
Let me see what we doing. You know what I'm saying?
See how we really live.
Yeah, see,
Yeah, let's see. Let me see how we really,
Yes,
maneuvering.
yes.
Because at the end of the day, I still have to be head of the household. I still have to be the king of my castle. But that's what the queen is for.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Your queen is to be there. So that's a stereotype. I try to teach my son the same
I'm
thing.
pin that because that goes into my next question. But I want to ask the
Sound like
statesmen ladies on our panel about that. What do you feel? I don't know if either of you are dating. That's not my business. But in that aspect, what do you think about that stereotype that a man is supposed to pay for every date?
Every date?
Yes.
I mean, for a first date, I wouldn't really call it something that I expect, but it's something that has happened. Because maybe they were raised, like Eric spoke about. So it has happened to me, but I mean, I'm always willing. I'm always willing to, pay for mine or whatever, but it's never really been an issue. Now, would I have been put off if they would have asked me to pay for half for like the first date? Probably. I mean, it wouldn't be a make or break, but I would do it. But I don't go there expecting them to handle everything. But if they do, I guess I have a lot more respect. Not because of the money part of it, but like Eric said, because that is something that is instilled.
Doc V?
yes, sir.
Honestly,
No, definitely not every date. The relationship I'm in right now, I mean, I'm actually arguing back and forth to try to pay for something, and I have to, act like I'm going to the bathroom and try to, skirt around and pay up front, and so it's really hard. And so, I don't believe they have to. I mean, it's beautiful when they step up to do that.
Exactly.
But now I'm not down with these dudes that pat their pockets. You out there, they start patting, and turning.
Forgot their wallet. Looking for
Yeah, they forgot something. Let me go check my console. I must have dropped it out somewhere.
You better go do some dishes so you can pay for my chicken parmesan.
Long gone are
Not
those
the
days.
chicken
I don't have to
parmesan.
deal with those type of brothers.
Yeah.
No, I need that woman that did Donnie Dash with me.
Where you track shoes. But I got one more question before we let the youth ask us some questions. And E hit on it too. And I think Akira would be the most one that can answer this question and be understanding, but I'm going to shoot it to the room, and I want the panel to look as well. Generational stereotypes, like E said, household. Now, we got to think of our time that we're in right now. Gender roles have changed. Family roles have changed. More men are staying at home, being a Mr. Mom, and more women are going into the workforce.
That's a bunch.
Well, what do you think, or how do you feel about those stereotypes that a woman is supposed to stay at the home, be barefoot and pregnant? That was a stereotype that we heard, men, your wife shouldn't have to work. You should take care, like E said, you should be the king of the castle, pay the bills or doing everything. But with the gender roles changing and the world changing, what do we think about those stereotypes that were passed and, as we say, were old fogey beliefs? You have young people. I said Akira because you're probably the most closest to the age. I want to hear your perspective first.
Okay, about gender roles and what I think about that. I think if you want something, you're gonna work for it. I mean, stuff is given to you, whatever. But I'm not about to be at home barefoot with babies. Maybe if my bills are paid off, let's get into that. But no, like if I want money, I'm gonna go get it. Like,
but what if your husband talks to you and he says, "Babe, I don't really want you to work. I prefer if you stay home and just keep the house." And what if he asks you
and
that?
I prefer if we were divorced. Right. We would speak about that before we even get married. Like, you work,
exactly.
I work, we're going to start a family at this time. Like, I mean, you can plan out your life and it still may not go how you want it to go, but you're going to set a plan first.
That's right.
Like, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to do with my life. I know you're supposed to like Sunday or whatever to your husband, but that's not giving what it's supposed to give. So, no. That's what I think about it.
Independent woman.
Oh, that's very astute. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else got a comment?
I got one.
I feel like if we both getting bread together, that makes me happy. I ain't got no problem with a female working in the house. It just makes us more money, get a bigger income.
That's mature, and I think that's a lot of the mindsets right now. That a lot of your generation and even a generation before, women were taught to be more independent, and that's their way of thinking. Um, I'm E. I'm gonna tell you. You said you were the one that paid the bills. Oh, you let somebody else pay the bill. I was never that trusting. I was never that trusting.
Wow.
I was the one that had to. I would, if you took care of it, I had to see it. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
That's so serious.
I can see you being that way.
I concur.
See?
I concur. Well, see, I mean,
I got something for both y'all.
You were
Get off
probably-
no,
that.
but see, when I say I was, like
Yeah,
I said, I was raised. I seen a man actually do that. So it was like my mindset was, that's how you handle.
Right.
And if you handle, that's how I seen it was handled. For the longest as I was growing up, and then as my mom and my dad separated, I seen a whole different situation.
Yes.
So it was just like, in the situation I seen that was different, I was like, no, I can't roll with that. I have to, revert back to what I seen and understood.
Yeah.
So it's just that simple. Hey, when I got married, I'm sorry. Hey, you handle the finances. I just, it is what it is. Hey, my hands is off. You say what's need to be paid. Look, here it go. Pay it.
Right.
That's my team. That's my teammate.
We have a comment from one of our loyal viewers. Hello, Jashonda.
Hello, Joshua.
What's up, mama?
She says, "Good evening. I have sons, and I tell them that they shouldn't make the date if they are not prepared to pay.
Hey, man.
And yes, Devin, that's AKA _ in our room, they should handle the first date. They, Devin _ as you.
Argue with your mama. I
Yeah,
dare you.
argue with your mama.
I dare you to argue with your mama.
I
Go ahead.
120% agree with my mother. That is who raised me, and that is who taught me how to do that. Okay,
I thought you was gonna say something different.
Oh no!
Just don't make her chili. Take her if you're going to do chili.
Yeah, take her out to eat. Don't make no chili.
But
Hey,
no.
this is what we not finna do. Okay, that was a long time ago. We gonna leave that in the past. I got second place.
yeah, but we're gonna talk a little bit more. Let's move on to. I don't know, because we're generations apart, so I don't know how racial stereotypes are still played out today for the youth. Give us some understanding of some racial stereotypes that are still happening for you as a young individual. That's for the room in general.
Okay, I'll go first. It's Akira, by the way.
Okay.
Okay,
It's their
I'm just
mic,
gonna
yeah.
talk.
I
Can you
think
hear
it's
me?
their mic.
Okay, I'm just gonna talk about an experience I had this past semester. Okay, so my friends, aka who I consider my brothers, they were shot when here in Fort Wayne, but I was in Huntington, and so I thought moving to Huntington, it would be like, okay, I'm this black girl, only black girl in the theater department. I'm gonna defy the odds and like accomplish college and kill it, and I don't have to worry about where I'm from, like a bad neighborhood, whatever, starting new. But then when my friends got shot and I got that phone call, I was like hysterical. And then it's like, oh shoot, I forgot I was the stereotypical black girl from the hood where people get shot every day. Oh shoot, I totally forgot about that. So then people, my friends are Caucasian now, so they saw like, oh shoot, I have a friend that's from the hood. I thought she was a different type of black girl. You know what I mean? So it's still like some stereotypes are inevitable. Like I can't help where I live right now.
Okay.
So it's just like seeing my friends develop that and seeing that mindset like, oh shoot, I do have a black friend who's from a bad neighborhood, bad things happen to her, and not just a girl, ooh, she goes to a PWI now, like, you know? So I don't know, that's my number one.
That's real. That's real profound. Anybody else?
No, I'm gonna pass on that.
You gonna pass?
Yeah.
Well, and Akira, I can give you that. And it's sad that when we all try to elevate in life and do different things. And it's sad that we have to come to reality that some stereotypes and stigmas are going to be with us forever. Think about it. Those young men, and I commend Fort Wayne. I got to commend Fort Wayne for this. They did not villainize these young men. They showed compassion for these young men, where it could have been stereotypical. When it hit the paper, it would have had all kind of bad stuff.
Right.
Something their grandfather could have did would have hit the paper to reflect on why they had been shot. So I do want to commend Fort Wayne for not being stereotypical in that aspect by bringing up past stuff to make these young men villains and, to justify them being shot.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, we perpetrate a lot of those stereotypes that, people tell us to be gangsters, thugs, and different things like that. So instead of changing that thought, we live in that thought. We embrace that thought. We believe that thought. So unfortunately, a lot of us wear stereotypes every day and we personify it.
Right. I want to kind of piggyback on something a little bit. Something that you said in the room. You said defy the odds. So I actually had a question for you guys in the room. In regards to stereotypes, do you find yourself trying to prove that you are not those things? Your exact words were, now they know that I'm a girl, the black girl from the hood. Do you feel like at times you have to hide who you truly are in order to not fit certain stereotypes, around your friends or your acquaintances or your classmates? I mean, do you guys feel like you are minimizing yourself because another person has minimized you?
No, I don't feel that way. I normally just be myself. My mom, she's always taught me, to be more proper with things, more subtle with things. So I've always been that way. And people at school, at Woodland, they always be like, you're white, you're not black, just because I speak like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't ever, feel like I got to prove anything to nobody. I know who I am.
Good.
I know my worth. I do me.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yep.
It's interesting, real quick, that did you say that the white people say you're white?
Yeah, I'm white and I'm not black because I speak proper. I don't always go around saying the N-word around school.
Now,
like
how do
everybody
you
else.
address that though? I mean, how do you? Because if we just keep letting people say those types of things and they can just get away with it. I mean, how do you address that? I don't know how I would handle that if somebody said that to me. So how do you?
It's not much I can do. So I just learned to brush things off and go on about my day. I know I'm black at the end of the day. I know they gonna see me as being black, in different scenarios, if we were in trouble or something. So
You know what's interesting about that, D? I'm not sure if you're familiar with the model minority. Have you ever heard of the model minority?
groups and stuff like that, like Latinos,
Or Asians
Yeah.
that they consider the model minority.
Yes, ma'am.
But listen, that is the reason. That's one of the things that they do. They take a back seat, or they're known as the model minority because they're the ones that are known to shush it so that it don't get out of control and bring attention to it. So it's like, just be quiet and just let it go by.
Yes,
And so
ma'am.
it seems like you're moving through like that. And that's good for me to hear. Not good for you to necessarily do that, but it's good for me to hear it because I wondered if Black people were moving as the model minority.
Right.
One thing that gets me at Woodland is how the white people there always try to act black. They always wearing Jordans, they sagging their pants, they say the N-word every now and then, I can't, control, I can't enforce every time, they say the N-word, but if you say that hard yard, then we got a problem,
When you
Yeah.
say
That's for me
act
that-
black,
You can't act the color.
what does that mean?
Oh.
And here's why I ask. What if Dr. V says to me right now that I don't act like you don't really seem like the other white people that I know. And I say that because she has never said that to me.
You're right.
But other
rephrase
people,
myself then.
no, your statement is perfect. But when it comes from that direction, I've never been offended when somebody says to me, "You're not like the white people I know," because I look at it as the people that they are referencing are racist or hateful or whatever. So I don't want to be like the white people that they know. So when it's said like that, it's completely different, or maybe I just take it completely different than when somebody tells you that you are acting white, per se. So yeah, nothing you said was wrong.
D-Rock, before you
sir.
go into that, I'm going to answer that with a little wisdom. Jill, and I can understand exactly what he's saying. And even when you say, are people acting black, it's a cultural stigma that it's been played out in the media, and it's a thought that's given to everybody. When you are in school, even some of your black friends, if you go to class, you get straight A's, they say you're trying to act white because you are getting an education. We equated being educated, being learned, being able to speak well as trying to be white. And cultural, when they say trying to be black, is that you wear the hat to the back, you sag in the clothes that you wear. It's a cultural thing. It's not a color or anything. They're saying you're just trying to appropriate a different culture and not be who you are. And that's very steeped in stereotypes.
Yes, sir.
But when
I
you-
agree.
Yeah. Real quick, when you said that, Clarence, and people say acting white, because if you're speaking proper, or because you get good grades, if you think way back to the slave time, right? Think about that, when we couldn't do anything, we couldn't read,
Right.
and we were uneducated.
Right.
So back then, they really said you were acting white when
Right.
you could do that.
Right.
Well, maybe they were right, because you can read.
Right.
So it was totally different back then.
Yes,
so,
I can agree with that.
So now it's really hard for me to really digest that people
Right.
say that, and it's okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Right.
Well, I think we got a question, so we're going to open up the floor and let the youth ask us some questions. What y'all got for us in there?
I have a question.
Okay, who is I?
Sequoia.
Okay.
And my question is, how do stereotypes shape or alter the truth?
Oh, that's a great question. How do stereotypes shape or alter the truth? Let's think about that. Anybody? before we
Anyone
go?
can answer.
So
yes.
I will take this first. How do they? Well, first of all, I will say that they do, period. And this is a wonderful question. So how do they? So let me just give an example. So we talked the other night about people that are from towns that have zero diversity. And by that, I mean 100% white towns. They exist. I'm from one. So a lot of times they are not around other cultures, not even in their profession. So a lot of their information that they get on other cultures, or as we're speaking now, Black people, they get from other people who probably have never had an interaction themselves, or the media. And let's keep in mind how the media portrays the Black community. So people who are white that are from out of town, and I've mentioned this a couple of times. When I first got my driver's license, the people around me said, if you go to Fort Wayne, you need to run every stoplight southeast. They didn't say southeast, but they gave me specific streets.
Right.
Pontiac Street, Creighton, the same streets that I drive every single night to get here with my doors unlocked. And I do stop at red lights. So that persona, that, portrayal of certain communities can be very detrimental, because if I didn't look any further, if I didn't associate, with people that didn't look like me, I could have thought that way for the rest of my life, passed that on to my daughter. She would have passed that on to her children. So it has such an impact in so many ways.
I got a simple answer to that. How does it shape it? You ever walk into a store and you see people follow you, and you know that they're following you?
Macy's.
I was going to say that store. You beat me to it. Because all Black people steal. So when a Black person walk in that store, they don't think that I have the financial means to pay for anything. So they start to, can we help you? I mean, I could be looking at a rack. Can I help you? I move to another rack. Can I help you? I move to another rack. Can I help you? And there's other people just walking around in the store, just minding their business.
That actually need help, and they can't get it because they're all up over you.
It's so terrible. And when you say that, you remind me of a time I was shopping and I was just losing my mind. Just on a shopping spree. And no, it wasn't tax time, but
the stimulus time.
And that hadn't even come into. This was back in, I'm gonna say, 2,000.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm shopping, doing my thing, and I'm feeling myself. So I got about 4 or 5 suits in my hand, and they were probably about 250, 300 a suit. And the lady says to me, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, we don't have layaway."
Oh wow.
No.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Thanks for telling me. I said, "Could you do me a favor?" And so she was just looking and smiling. I said, "Could you put these back?"
Right.
And
Right.
and I told her, I said I was actually going to purchase them.
Right.
And I said, "You should never say that to anybody else." And I politely took my money somewhere else.
Well-
So, it's interesting that you say that. So either following you around or assuming, and that is definitely one of the ways that stereotyping can alter, just like by what someone wears. So I heard someone say that there are some brothers that may be sagging and they are very wealthy.
Right.
That's just, that's just the way it is. So you judge a book by its cover. Yeah.
Russell Simmons
Could
is
cost
one of
you-
them. Russell Simmons looked like
Yeah.
an everyday bum.
He showed up.
Yeah. How about
He
on a
wear-
certain day you may have catch Jamie Foxx?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just saying.
Russell Simmons wear a Yankees hat and Adidas to a business meeting.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's
Or
how you know
Jonathan
you
Kirk.
rich.
Yes.
Whoa.
Or how about how people stereotype strippers? I'm
Mm.
just saying, you don't know. You don't understand what she's doing and why she's doing what she's doing. But it's just that off the top, you hear that and then
Right.
you automatically consider her
Assume.
scum.
Right.
Like,
Right.
listen, I have a little story.
All right.
So I know somebody
Uh-huh.
who was a stripper, graduated from high school, and then became a stripper.
Uh-huh.
And she was only a stripper because she was getting money because she wanted to start her own business.
Uh-huh.
And now she's started her own business. She's flying different places all the time, living her best life.
Right.
Right.
That's again, we like to stereotype.
That
Y'all got
happens.
another question. That was a deep question. Can we
Like
get
the
a couple of more
Kardashians.
before we run out of here?
Let me ask one then. Hold on. Let me. Okay.
He going into the archives or something. I hear papers.
Yeah, ruffling.
Do you think certain groups are more subject to stereotyping than others? And if so, why?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a definite.
Yes. But why? Because that's what we're taught. Let's be honest. All of our where do we learn all of our stereotypes from? We learn them
Home.
from environments, home,
TV.
TV.
Yes.
I mean, be it racial, be it by your gender, be it by your age, be it whatever. We, but yes, black people, minorities, we're the most stereotyped people. And we did a lot of it to ourselves because I spoke the other day, the black exploitation movies back in the 70s. We made those movies. We supported those movies. And we glamorized those movies. And we lived those movies. And we still do it today in our music and in a lot of our cultures. We still do it today. So, yeah, we are the ones that's most stereotyped, but we got to also find a way to break those stereotypes and stop living within them.
That's a good point.
All right, and then I got another one, and I'm pretty sure Kira has some. How might we unlearn some stereotypes we have been taught? Please be realistic. Please give realistic, obtainable examples.
We have to replace the stereotypes with something called knowledge instead of opinion. Replace the stereotype with feeling,
Yes.
experiences. In my opinion, that is the only way that you can get rid of a stereotype in your head is to completely abolish the stereotype.
I agree,
I agree
with
with
that
that.
because, just like Jill with you embracing a panel of black people, brown people, whatever,
I'm not
melanin. I know somebody was going to say I'm not black. That's why, I had nowadays you have to have a whole story lineup of examples
Right. I got you.
of your color and
Your
race.
color, yeah.
But the truth is exactly what you said. So I believe that's realistic to do. Just kind of crossing those color lines and, just making friends. If you don't reach out to somebody, why do you expect somebody to reach out to you?
Exactly.
That happens a lot of times. And not just with young people, but with, I know for facts, with adults and old people. Okay, so it's like she didn't speak to me, so I didn't speak to that type of thing. So I believe just getting rid of that
Yes.
type of stinking thinking,
Right.
and
You're
we
right.
can
Most definitely.
improve
Amen.
life.
Yeah.
Good questions.
Great question. Akira, you have one?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so personally, I believe that some stereotypes are inevitable. So what do you guys think about that?
I think so. I definitely think so.
Yes.
You
I would
know,
have to say yes. I think
I
that.
was going to say because if I start talking about a terrorist right now and ask you guys to imagine, without saying anything, what do you see? And
White. Sorry.
if I speak of bungee jumping, what do you see? Or hockey, or ice fishing? What do you see?
Right.
See, so I believe that some things we're going to think it, period, and we have to train ourselves not to do that or not to jump to conclusions.
Well, and I think with any race, black, white, Hispanic, black, Asian, white, whatever, I think those stereotypes are not going to go away. They're inevitable because how the world is viewed. And so I think coming into the world, you don't know it, but it's inevitable because you're going to be around it. You're always going to be taught that difference, or that difference is going to be shown. So therefore, I believe that that's why it's inevitable, because people are still here that have those stereotypes. So they're going to pass them down and they're going to keep them going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
In yesterday's segment, Dr. V, C Stats, and Miss Jill closed their eyes and read some statements. Can we go over some of those statements and discuss what came to your mind?
Well, and some of those Doc V just hit on, but when she said, and I got to tell y'all, she said bungee jumping. The first thing that came to my mind was 3 initials, and I told Jill I can't say those 3 initials on the air because, one, black people ain't going to jump with something tied around
Say
them.
the 3 initials.
WPS.
And I'm going to drop the W because, like I told Clarence earlier, I'm not even that white that I would bungee
But
jump.
is the S syndrome?
Or, stuff.
Oh, white people stuff.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was the white
Stuff.
people syndrome.
No,
I
stuff.
don't know what.
Stuff. And we go. But no, I mean,
But do you know black people bungee jump?
yes. Black people
I'm
ski.
just saying.
But, we didn't think black people ski. Black people did. I played tennis. And, before Serena and Venus, we didn't think black people played tennis.
Before Tiger Woods.
Before black people didn't play
Oh,
golf.
I was playing tennis before Venus. And all.
Yeah.
I just was playing good.
I wasn't that good.
You know.
But yeah, you think about it.
Bouncing
a lot
the
of
ball
things,
against the house.
Yeah, a lot of things. If we closed our eyes and thought about it. And E and I, before we came on the air, we were talking about it. And I know you young people probably haven't seen it, but if you haven't, go watch A Time to Kill. At the end, Matthew McConaughey was this lawyer. And he, the start of the story, I think she was between the ages of 8 and 10, a young black girl had gotten raped by 2 white men. And it was a divided, segregated town in the South. I think it was Mississippi based. I'm believing. But at the end of his thing, the girl was the whole focus of the trial. And he asked the jurors to close their eyes. He said, imagine that a young girl having her flesh ripped off of her. She's been beaten within an inch of her life. These men did vile things to her and everything. This was an all-white jury. Then before he opened their eyes, he said, now imagine if she was white.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
I remember that.
yeah, I think a lot of times we do have to close our eyes, to get rid of stereotypes and just try to picture everybody in that kind of situation versus just a demographic or a certain group of people that are in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one more question.
All right.
Okay. As Christians, why is it that we can treat everyone as human instead of stereotyping them? Did Jesus come to unite or divide? So why do we?
Oh, wow. She said, as Christians, why do we still stereotype and not treat people as human? Did Jesus come to unite or divide?
Well, because Christians are still human. And until they cross over, I believe, into the glory, they're imperfect people. And I just believe that it would be a beautiful world if we all did that, no judgment zone everywhere we went. That would be a beautiful world. I just don't think that it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And the problem is, yes, Jesus came to unite, but the thing is, as we believe, different things. People believe in Jesus in different ways, and that's one of the problems. We don't have unity in our belief as that, so we can continue to stereotype because we don't have the same. We should, or we say we have the same belief,
Right.
but look at it. We don't have the same heart or the same practices
Right.
or the same
Of
love
Jesus.
of Jesus.
That's
So-
right. We have not made him the standard. So
Yes.
when we try to reach for the mark or what is considered the golden standard or whatever you call it in your life, a lot of times that is not Jesus.
Right.
It could be like Mike, the basketball player,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Right.
Or it could be like Beyonce. And for that particular thing, I've met my mark. I've reached my benchmark. But not too many times do people leave the house every day and say, I'm making Jesus the standard.
Right.
And I choose to do what Jesus would do. If that was the case, everything would be
Sure.
beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think that's an awesome
Preacher.
question.
Yeah, really good questions back
Well,
there.
And D-Rock, Sequoia, Akira, E-Fikes, Jill, Doc V. I thank y'all all.
This fifth grade relationship.
Say again?
I said I don't want to hear nothing about this fifth grade relationship.
No, I'm not gonna go there tonight, but we will talk about it later. But here's where we
He
are.
has put his foot down.
Here's where we are. And D-Rock,
Yes, sir.
don't make me get my belt off.
Man, come on with it. Come on with it.
But here's where we are. We can talk about this, and we have talked about this all weekend. We can go all night, but we're not going to hold you much longer. We appreciate all of you that have stayed with us. We're going to ask you to continue to click, like, and share. Follow us on all social media sites. We're there. Just follow us and, give us your comments, your questions, and any subject that you might want us to talk about. But before we go, I got a nugget, but you see we're in our shirts again. We're going to shout out our man.
Hey, shout out.
Look at
Shout out
us.
for
Look at us.
this.
Yes. We're
Can
gonna
you
shout out
say
our
it? You gotta
cameraman.
say it. You gotta
It's
say the name.
Divalore. Divalore. It means man of God. God's work. I'm sorry, God's work. And our cameraman is actually one of the partners behind this that designed these shirts.
Hey.
We are always going to try to
Different
support our
colors.
community. Yes, different
We just
colors,
gotta
different
make sure
sizes.
they see that.
We're going to post it on our Facebook because they're launching in mid-July. So follow our Facebook page and stay with us, and you'll have the information on how to get these shirts.
And before we exit and before
I
you
have
do
a
your
nugget.
thing,
You got the nugget?
we got a nugget in there.
We're gonna let you have it.
Before you do the nugget, I also want to shout out the Lamont, the Bright White Smile, his
Yes.
company. So teeth whitening, and we don't have the address, but I do want to give a shout out for that.
Yes,
so
Lamont
this is our
Walker.
shout out Fridays.
Yes.
So yes, Lamont. He used to be a part of our team.
Yes.
So I just want to say, so look him up. Bright White Smile.
Yes, yes. And we're going to thank you. I'm going to throw it to D-Rock, and he's going to leave us with a nugget. But again, we want to thank you all for being with us. And come back, join us Tuesday. We'll be back Tuesday with what's going on. And we'll let you know what's going on in our world, community, and in our city. All right, D-Rock, it's on you.
Everybody goes through something. It's all about persevering.
Hey.
Nice.
Wow.
Short and
Short and
powerful.
sweet.
Sweet and powerful.
Powerful.
Yes.
Thank you all back there for
Thank
being
you.
with us.
Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody wake up. No time for sleeping on the issues. This is neutral